So, after a year of nagging from some of my gamer buddies, I caved and finally got myself one of those virtual reality headsets. I was soon about to find out that there was nothing virtual about them. Now, at first I was indifferent towards them, but once I started using it, I realized that it truly does live up to the hype. I even went ahead and got myself a swivel chair. The experience was so immersive, I often forgot I was sitting on a chair in my apartment, and not really soaring across the sky looking down on prehistoric animals and whatnot. Well, fast forward a few weeks, and it became a habit of mine to come home from work and lay a bag of chips next to me and watch Netflix on it, well, until dinner time. Okay, so for those who have no experience with VR headsets, let me just tell you that it's identical to a real theater. Well, when you watch movies on it, you'll see yourself sitting in the middle of a cinema hall, or whatever setting you choose, but all the chairs are empty. You can even look behind you, like 180 degrees behind you, 2 empty rows of chairs. I'd always wonder what it would be like to own a personal cinema hall, and this was the closest I'd ever been to it, so it was pretty cool. So one day I come home as usual and followed tradition and decided I'd binge watch True Detective. It was a weekend, so I wasn't worried about sleeping late, and my girlfriend was out of town, so I really had nowhere to be. Now I'm down 3 episodes of season 1, and I'm really gripped in with the whole season. Half an episode in, and I hear a light thud, as if a door just closed behind me. I take the set off and look around, wondering who might have walked in. And I realize that there is no door behind me. I'm sitting against the window on my couch. I still get up and make sure that my door was locked, and to my satisfaction, it was. I shrug it off and continue to sit down and watch. So my weekend is up and I'm back at work. I walk in, and to my delight, Kim is already there, and that's my girlfriend. I chat with her for a while and catch up with her before our shifts start. Now, after a day of listening to entitled brats and putting on fake smiles when they try on clothes, I'm beat. I work at this clothes store, and we get a lot of people who come in there thinking that they own the store and the people who work there. Kim and I grabbed up some dinner, and we decided to spend the night at my place since we've been apart for the weekend. Now, it's about 1 a.m. when I wake up to go get some water. As I'm making my way back to my room, I hear a light thud behind me. I turn around and notice the window of the hall is open. I figure the wind must have blown the bathroom door closed or something, but to my surprise, it was open. Now, I didn't give it too much thought, partly because I was too sleepy, and partly because knowing someone else was there with you in the apartment makes you less likely to think negative things of such minor occurrences. I slowly drag myself to bed and fall asleep once again. But to give you an idea, my apartment is like in the shape of an L. The smaller head is where the hall and bathroom is, and the longer head has the 2 bedrooms opposite of each other, with a storage room in between. The next day I get home from work and watch a little bit on my VR. I'm laughing and really enjoying myself when I hear the all too familiar thud behind me. I instinctively turn my head with the VR on and stare at the end of the hall, at the entrance. I see something. It's a dark patch that's a little darker than its surroundings. You guys know liquid black? Like the ink? Yeah, that kind. I restart the device and look up again. It's still there. I figure it must have always been there since I never really looked up there. I continue watching the movie, and I'm laughing, and suddenly stop. I'm overwhelmed by this realization that I'm alone in my apartment with a headset over my eyes, but I feel like I'm being watched. Now, I'm not one of those paranoid types, but the feeling was just too strong, so I take it off and decide that I've had enough of virtual reality for one day. For the next few days, I stayed away from it and spent more time with Kim. I'll fast forward a few more days, and it's the weekend again, and Kim has to be away once again. I prepare myself another weekend without her. I get a call from a friend, and he says there's a new bar that opened up across the street to where he lived, and so I went over there and we went to check it out. We had a few drinks, chatted a bit, and then went on our way. I figure it's only 11 p.m., and I've got nothing to do tomorrow, so I think I'll finish the movie I left off. I wear the VR over my head and start the movie. But my gaze is suddenly directed towards my extreme left on the last seat of the row ahead of me. I see a liquid black. I recall the ink blot I'd seen over at the back and turned around, but it isn't there. Now I'm genuinely freaked out and I just take it off. I decide I'll contact the company about this first thing in the morning, assuming it's a glitch. I wake up and contact them, and they ask me to come over to their help center. They checked it out and said that it was fine, and I checked it, and it was. They said sometimes stuff happens that's really hard to pin down and just fixes itself. I figured it was a fair enough explanation, because that usually is how most technology behaves. Satisfied with my visit, I return home. Now, I won't bullshit around, and I'll just cut to the chase. It was there again, but closer now. It sat just a few chairs behind me, and I could almost make out its features. It did not seem like an ink blot anymore. I suddenly felt like someone touched the back of my neck and whispered in my ear. It was getting too real, too soon, so I flung away the headset from my face and looked around. No one. Obviously, I was alone. I chuckled and thought about how silly I was being and looked over at the corner of the room. I seemed to have broken the headset. I frowned, thinking I wasted all that cash due to a little paranoia, but a little part of me was glad it broke. The weekend is up and I'm back to spending time with Kim and working. We went to grab dinner after work, and I noticed something in my peripheral vision while eating, and it slowly becomes clear. An ink blot. Now, I'm not stupid, so I instantly made the connection and realized I wasn't even wearing the headset. I tell Kim we're leaving and pay at the front desk, and we leave. She asked me what that was all about and looked at me pretty weird. I tell her just to be quiet for a while, and we go back to her place because I'm certainly not staying at mine after what just happened. So here I am, scared shitless and not sure what to do. I'll update if anything happens.